Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today's kind of a big day for me. It was different yesterday. I thought that I had a appointment, a WebEx court appointment, actually changing my last name. So I never met my birth father. My stepdad raised me Jehovah's Witness, and I shouldn't say most of, some of his family didn't treat me very well. Some of them treated me very well. Others, not so much. Um, but just, I don't really have an affiliation with his last name. So, kind of a big change there. But recently so I thought I had that yesterday. Logged in, waiting for the judge to log in. Didn't happen, and then I look and it's today, not yesterday. So heading back to the house to get online and do that here in about an hour and go from there. But on another note, this morning I'll put a link to her channel in the description. The channel is Fig Leaf. It's Jillian, and she is a ex-JW in England, and she has been doing some really good interviews with different people that have left and how they cope, and they've been really helpful. The ones she's done most recently are people that have got involved with sex work afterwards. So obviously something that was very repressed as a Jehovah's Witness, and then that changes after you leave. And so there's been some good experiences, people getting some help, changing their lives, getting out of bad situations and starting their own. And then she interviewed one guy. She read a couple women at the beginning that she interviewed, and she interviewed one guy on camera, and then she read a couple experiences for people that were anonymous. And the last guy, I can't remember his name, he had mentioned that it was interesting because he was working in the porn industry as like a video editor, and he was actually disfellowshipped and getting back. I may not be remembering this right, but to the point, I think he was getting back, trying to get reinstated. He still had that job, and then the elders in his hall weren't so much upset about the porn editor, but they were mad that he was part of a Facebook group that had ex-Jehovah's Witnesses in it. So I brought up a point that I thought before, that I see with a few people in my life, which is if you leave the religion and you're miserable and people can see that, they're okay with that. But what they can't understand and what they don't like, and especially what the elders seem to then try, which I had a few that at first I thought were well-intentioned, and then afterwards I kind of look at it and realize what's going on. But they're not happy if you leave and you're happy after you left. So if you're doing good, you got things together, life's working, they're not happy with that. So it made me think, because I obviously know in no experience is isolated. I had experienced that, and I should have known that many others have, but in my own way I was just like, oh, so I am a introvert to a point, and I always describe myself as an introvert. After I left the JWs, I don't know that I would describe myself as that anymore. Dang, I don't want to show off, but that way that caught right there. The back of my arm, I did not expect there to be that much color, and the artist did an awesome job on. There's a lot of symbolism in this tattoo, but she just did so good on the colors. I saw it in the camera, I was like, dang! Anyway, I would not see myself or describe myself so much as an introvert now. I am selective with who I spend my time with because I value my time. And part of that comes from knowing life, or life in this form, depending on how you view it, is finite. So because it's finite, then it goes back to the most valuable resource we all have is time. So I'm selective with who I spend my time with, but I would definitely not describe myself as an introvert any longer. I really do enjoy being around other people and doing things. I'm just selective with who those people are. That was not the case when I was a witness, and I did not realize why until recently, and that comment that he made me think about it. It is that those, witnesses, no matter how unconditional, loving, everything that's going on with that, which after I left realized it's definitely not unconditional, but I didn't feel like I was judgmental as a witness, but now I look back and realize that I was. And I believe every witness, whether they're conscious of it or not, is judgmental as well. And I really don't enjoy being around judgmental people. That's a way that I have no patience for it. So I've become a lot more open and met a lot more people and experienced a lot more things since I left, just because I'm not prejudging anyone. And that's been great. It's opened up a lot to me. And he also mentioned, he got involved with an XJW group. And I did as well, to a point. I will say there's someone, James, I cannot remember his last name. This is really bad. He has a book coming out. He was super helpful. I'll try and put a link to whatever he's doing right now in my video description as well. But James, he actually hosted a podcast with Lloyd Evans for a little while. And he brought up a point one time that to caveat being involved in the XJW group. So before I say my experience in those, I'll put this forward because it is important. When I was a JW, one of the things that was kind of cool to me, and I still see it as good, is I went to an international convention, and to show up in a country like Estonia that has so much history, and then to just have people that you had something in common with right away, and to go hang out with them was a great experience. I really did enjoy that. And so I understand the draw of that. If you take that over to XJW community, though, just because you have the common ground with someone of both being ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, that doesn't mean you're going to be good friends. It really doesn't. They could have completely different values. They could have there's so many things that could be different. Many of them leave and switch to a different version of Christianity. Others, like myself, I left and I'm not Christian. I'm spiritual, but I'm not Christian in any way, shape, or form. And there's others that leave and they're atheist or agnostic. I'm willing to talk and, be involved with any of those. Some people, they get extreme views after they leave and they're not compatible with me. Not everybody's going to like me. I'm not going to like everybody. I don't have a reason. I'm not trying to change anyone's opinions or views. I just express my own, and if you can learn from it, great. If it doesn't interest you, there's a lot of YouTube channels and a lot of other stuff you can do. So I accept whatever anybody wants to do, as long as you're not hurting anybody else. That's the caveat I go to. So just because it's an XJW group doesn't mean you're going to be friends with everybody or everything's going to work for everybody. So that being said, I will also say, I'll put a couple links to XJW groups that I'm involved with in in the link to this video, the description. And they've been very helpful. I've met individuals in there that have been helpful. I've met individuals where we only talked for, a few minutes, or we talked once online and then that was kind of the end of it. I have others who I would, I definitely consider friends, and I see them, if they live close by, I see them in person on a, monthly basis, sometimes weekly, and you can meet some great people. And when you go from having a congregation to then being ostracized by that congregation and then having to do things on your own, it is important to find some friends. And I was very blessed in that I met someone who was with me as a good friend through my whole deciding I was done with religion. She was a good friend through my divorce, and then it was months after my divorce we ended up in a relationship, and we've been, boyfriend and girlfriend for pretty much after my divorce till now. And, for the foreseeable future, that's where I'm at, and so I had a really good friend that was really crucial through all of that. I also have a friend who is now my roommate, and I moved in with him shortly after I moved out. There's a whole story actually about the gap. I have to figure out how to tell it to protect some I'm not going to be able to say that word. Anonymity? No, that's not right. To help someone remain anonymous that's in the middle there. Anonymity. There it is. No, I'm not cutting that out. I'll leave it in. And so, I had someone who I've known for 24 years, 23 years. And he's about 4 years younger than me. And we had very different lifestyles. He left JW's when he was 18. I got married to someone who was a pioneer at 18. And he was never baptized. We stayed in touch. And he's always kind of been like a little brother to me. And then things didn't work out when I first moved out. And it worked out well for us to move in together. So he's been my roommate ever since. So, and he's got a lot of the same views I do, in that he doesn't hold any grudges against individual witnesses, just like I don't, but the organization as a whole I don't agree with. So I was very fortunate I had two very, very good friends there, and then mine also happened during COVID, so having a small group of friends was really ideal. So between my roommate, my girlfriend, my roommate's girlfriend, and then a few others from their groups to me, really were the reason and what helped me get through that first year. Having your family, my son, very limited contact with me. My ex, pretty much no contact now, which is hard. I don't have a reason to have a romantic relationship with her, but I had told her, once we split up, I'd prefer to be able to show up, every couple months or something, or have them over and have dinner or whatever. And that's just not how it went. So that's unfortunate. They have their choice. My ex is very, very staunch, very committed to the Jehovah's Witnesses. My son is as well, and they've chosen to, I'm bad association, so no association. So that is hard. I really, really, really wish it wasn't that way, but it is. So I don't have a choice other than to, get others. You find your tribe, do it yourself. So I would say when you leave the number one thing is you have to take care of yourself. You want to help others too. And then you need to find that group that's going to support you. And don't go after negative people. In my opinion, it's just better to not be negative. Don't have that hate towards anyone. Just try and focus on yourself and figure it out from there. And then if you can revisit and go back and unpack it to get those anger feelings if you have them, but don't just let anger ruin your life. Go find some other people. Like I said, we all have a finite amount of time, and the people we spend it with are a huge part of it. So it's made it to where I go out and I look for others that are interesting to me. I try to meet them, talk to them, learn from them, learn from their experiences so that I can help them and they can help me. If you have family members that were not Jehovah's Witnesses, then if you were, a fairly good Jehovah's Witness, then you probably have worldly family members. Worldly, I usually don't use that term. If you're not familiar with JW, that's what Jehovah's Witnesses refer to people that are not Jehovah's Witnesses, or people that are not in the truth, as they call it. Get in touch with those family members, explain your situation, explain that you'd like to spend more time with them, talk to them, get to know them, because, I apologize to mine for not doing more back before, because I felt like I couldn't due to my commitments in the church. So that's, reconnected me with some of my family very well and has been huge as well. So those kind of things are very important to do right off the bat. Otherwise, I haven't seen it personally, but I've heard of it from other people in the communities where someone has woken up, decided that they need to leave, and then the loneliness essentially has made them go back. And then they're what we refer to, or what is referred to in the community as PMO, physically in, mentally out. And so they're there just living a lie because that's the only way they can still keep in touch with their family and friends. And like I said, it's a finite amount of time, and that's a hard way to spend that amount of time. So I don't want to see people get in that situation if at all possible. So just something to keep in mind if you're recently out or thinking of leaving and fading, and what you need to do is get that support group so that when you leave, you're able to transition and not feel like, oh, I have to go back, because friendship is much different outside of the JWs than it is inside. You always have a common ground with everybody inside, and you're kind of expected to be friends with everybody. In the real world, you don't have to do that. You can find the people that you really click with. I'm not saying go find a bunch of yes men. I refer to my roommate as my little brother, and both my girlfriend and my roommate, they will call me out when I'm doing something stupid. And it makes me think. It's not somebody who just agrees with everything I do. You need people to check you, and that's how you grow. So, but I really do think there's a lot of people out there. There's tons of people out there. And you don't have to be friends with everybody. I've talked to hundreds of people in XJW communities. I'm actually friends where I'm in regular contact doing things with people, with about 10 or 15. Personally, right now, I'm rebuilding my life financially, and out of a divorce that was 20 years and everything, like, it's just, I've got a lot going on, so I don't have hundreds of friends. I have hundreds of friends on Facebook, but actual friends that I talk to on a regular basis, do things with on a regular basis, 10 or 15 people. And I have that core group of friends. And, I have some of those are ones where, no questions asked. If I call and need to be bailed out of jail, they would be there to help me out right away. And, I have friends and family friends and family that were Jehovah's Witnesses that, if I was missing meeting for a couple times, they'd quit talking to me. So it's a much different reality once you're there. So just due to timing, this one's drug on a little longer than I planned. you can't tell there were some hard parts in there that I was trying not to split off into tangents. I'll cover that stuff later, but yeah, me breaking up with my immediate family was a lot rougher than I thought it would be, but it's much better now than it was 6-8 months ago. So I'm starting to, it's a healing process. It just takes time, and sometimes all you can do is wait on others. You can't make others do anything. The only thing you have control over is yourself. So anyway, keep it up. Don't want to end on a down note. I'm feeling very positive. I'm glad. I'm happy with where I am in my life, working on this project, just getting it started. Didn't even start this the way I wanted. It's just how it happened and what's been available, and the time that I had while I finished up some other stuff to start doing the other videos I'm thinking of doing, and working on a few things during these to take to that format. And get out there. You have to replace, for me anyway, it helped to, for a while I wasn't replacing my spirituality with anything. Then I realized I am a spiritual person, and I had to look somewhere else and try to figure some stuff out in order to fill that. And those same people have been very influential and helpful with me. My girlfriend's spiritual. My little brother, that's my roommate, not, he doesn't know whether it's, not necessarily atheist. He thinks we could be in a simulation. And he's very smart. He's done a lot of research. He's very scientific minded, and there's some good points to think about in that scenario. That's a possibility. Who knows? So just looking at things through a different lens and seeing others' viewpoints of the world has been huge for me. So getting out there and doing that helps you get past losing the other stuff. Doesn't replace it. Nothing will. All we can do is learn and grow. So keep growing. Keep on doing it. If there's anything I can do to help, shoot me a message. Leave a comment. Hopefully I'll have a website link up soon. I have a Discord channel set up, and we'll have some stuff going there. But as I mentioned earlier, this one's dragging on. I was trying to keep these at 15 minutes, and this one's at almost 23. So I will sign off for now. Plus, I got to get to that court hearing and get my last name changed. To me, that's kind of the last vestige of the JW identity that I have. And so that's going to go away. All things considered, I can't imagine them denying it. We'll go from there. So until next time, I hope everyone's doing great. Hope you're all being blessed. Just keep doing good. Keep stretching. Keep going forward. Keep growing. And until next time, just keep it up. Keep positive. Keep working. We're all in this together, and we'll all come out on the other side. So peace and love to everyone. Have a good day.